Mayo is a lifeline to many inmates. There's a lot of indigent inmates that don't have other resources, like they can't use a phone because their families cannot accept the cost because they're too expensive. Another thing is that not everybody can get visits. So that's my main concern, that I see Mayo as a lifeline. I was a lifer at one time, but by the grace of God, I got released back to society, and a lot of times, that's all I had.
How are you gonna take that light away from them? Pictures, letters, it means so much for them. And my tears are genuine. And I'm sure everybody else in here cries for their kids, for their husbands, for their uncles, for their cousins, because they want them to know how we are doing out here. How are we supposed to let them know how we're doing in a postcard? How is that right?
In 11 years since I've been incarcerated, what worked for me was the 8 to 10 page letters that she would send me. Because that was my lifeline to my connection, is to my companion. What she wrote to me wasn't on a postcard, but it was a book. Like the sister back here, my companion wrote to me all the time. So when you don't get mail, it psychologically messes you up.
Those letters, like I said, are the lifeline. My son suffers from depression, and when he gets a letter and he gets to know that he's loved, he gets to know that he's a part of, and that he's not forgotten. He made a bad choice, but he's not forgotten. You know, that keeps him a little bit sane. That letter, all he has, you know, we get to share memories with him. And for that moment, he's with us.
And I can tell you, like my mom, I have a 2-year-old daughter, I have a fiance, 4 sisters, 2 brothers, a lot of nieces and nephews, and these are the only ones that helped me change my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm 23 years old. I could have went to prison. I could have did the rest of my life in prison, but because of the letters of my mom and the strength and the encouragement and everything to come out and do right by my daughter and my girl and all my sisters, you know, it changed my life, and it helped me. Instead of being in jail where I could be right now, I'm here with my mom and everybody here. And I can say I got friends younger than me that's doing 25 to life, 12 years to life, 7 years to life. You know what I'm saying? And that's not right for them to get that taken away, to be able to experience what I'm experiencing now, to be, you know, going down the right path in life and everything like that. It's overwhelming with joy, and I'm proud of myself. You know what I'm saying? I just hope y'all don't take that away from people, you know?
So I know a lot of the families at my church, and so whenever I hear one of their loved ones is incarcerated, I write to them, and especially those that were in church and went a different route, you know, and I start doing Bible studies through correspondence. I can't write that small to do, you know, Bible correspondence on a postcard, and it gives them hope.
Because if that letter didn't come from my family that I had lost in 8 or 9 years, and I didn't get to hear from them, I would have stayed there. I would have done life in prison.
I'm afraid of the mind frame and the mindset of my son and other inmates if this gets taken from them. And not only for them, for me. As a mother, I get to share and I get to be a part of my son's life by writing to him and keeping him a part of what's going on here and telling him about his daughter's birthday that he doesn't get to be a part of, you know? And it goes both ways, because, you know, here's a reality. We get to tell him what you're missing, and maybe, just maybe, it'll hit home and they'll change. We've seen change here. We've seen people come home because of a letter.
They create relationships out here in the community, positive relationships in recovery. And we actually are trying to work to get to a place where we can pick them up at the gate and get them to their first meeting. But the step process, the 12 steps, is a spiritual basis of 12 steps. It's a very personal thing through these 12 steps, and it's going to need much more than just the area on a postcard.
I've got about 40 years of working with inmates. One thing that I simply want to say is, inside is kind of a world of insanity. The only sanity they get oftentimes are the letters from parents, from spouses, from kids.
California law specifically prohibits any limitation on the volume of mail that an inmate may send or receive. All we want is the inmate's legal rights and due process of law.
What will be the cost eventually, and I'm talking money too, both to the jail and to the county if the policy goes through? And I actually think we're running, and I'm starting to kind of realize this as I'm hearing all of you speak, a real risk here, and an unknown risk. The social science on connectivity between inmates and their families is pure and good and strong, and we already know what that says. And it says it's really important for people to have that both in their behavior in the jail, their mental health well-being, and also whether or not they go back inside.
So on a nightly basis when you're in custody, the one thing that you look forward to is your mail. Now if you're in the dorms, what they're gonna do is they're gonna come in and say mail call. And then you're gonna get off your bunk and you're gonna go down and get your mail and you're gonna be so freaking pumped. And if you're in lockdown, you lock down in your bedroom or your cell and you wait. Some of you stare out the window and you wait for the cop to go to the cop shop to get your package of mail, and they walk around and you watch them walk around, and when they pass your door it sucks, right? But when you get mail it sounds something like this. And you get this feeling. And then when you pick up the envelope that's addressed to you, and you get to turn it over and you get to open it up and you get to pull it out. And what we get to do is we get to fold the pages. You fold these pages time after time after time after time. You fold them up, you put them back in the envelope, and then when you want to revisit that memory, you pull it back out, you open it up. Because although you didn't get to see your kid get potty trained, or you didn't get to be at the graduation, it's all on paper, all of it.
Would you be open, Chief, if we did form a community working group to work alongside your administration, county council, so that you have as informed a decision as possible to make, so that we do this county right?
Yes.
All right.
I hope that we could come to some type of agreement or some type of balance between the two, and hopefully that could happen. Say with some effort.